All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're taking a look at a really fascinating, highly alternative, and intensely spiritual perspective on human wellness. If you've ever wondered about the mind-body connection, well, our source material today takes that idea and just pushes it to the absolute extreme. We aren't looking at standard medical journals today. Instead, we're exploring a philosophical framework that claims to reveal the ultimate truth of health from a world entirely beyond our physical one. So let's dive into it. I want you to start by asking yourself this kind of mind-bending question. What if your physical body is actually just a spiritual body in disguise, constantly renewing itself like a flowing river? It's a profound thought, right? It fundamentally challenges our basic, everyday assumptions about physical reality. It really sets the stage for a philosophy where flesh and bone are totally secondary, and unseen forces take the driver's seat. Our source for this perspective is a book called The Super Absolute Health Method by Ryuho Okawa. Specifically, we're going to be breaking down Chapter 4, which asks us to consider health from a dimension completely outside our current one. The author essentially promises to outline a method that goes way beyond diet and exercise, aiming squarely at the spiritual core of human existence.
Okay, Section 1. Beyond the physical body, the true form of a human.
According to the author, standard biology is completely flipped on its head here. The physical body you see in the mirror, the one you're interacting with every single day, is considered merely a temporary vessel. The true form of a human is essentially a spiritual body, or a soul, that has just temporarily taken up residence inside that physical shell. So under this framework, any analysis of health that only looks at the physical matter is missing the most important piece of the puzzle.
Moving on to Section 2, the flowing river concept, constant cellular renewal.
The text uses this incredibly vivid, serene metaphor of a landscape to describe our cellular biology. The author argues that our physical cells are never static. Instead, they are constantly dying off and being replaced, renewing themselves in a continuous stream, exactly like the flowing water of a river. When you look at a river, it seems like a solid, permanent thing, but the water making it up is constantly changing. Well, the author argues your physical body works the exact same way.
The text drives this home with a really powerful line. The body continues to change like the flow of a river. Now, why does this actually matter for us? Well, think about it. If your body is always in motion and constantly replacing itself, its physical condition is never truly fixed. If you're sick today, the cells of tomorrow haven't even been built yet. Theoretically, according to this philosophy, the state of your body can be radically altered because it is always in an active state of creation.
Which brings us to Section 3, commanding the subconscious, the body as a factory.
So, beyond the conscious mind lies the vast world of the subconscious. And the author describes the body's entire internal operation as this highly responsive biological factory. In this factory, your daily thoughts aren't just, passing daydreams. They are literal commands issued by you, the master, down to the cellular workers on the floor. Honestly, just imagine being a microscopic worker getting an urgent, all-caps memo every single time you feel stressed. It's kind of a lot of pressure on the staff.
Let's track exactly how this works according to the book. Step 1, a really strong desire forms in your conscious mind. Step 2, if you hold on to that desire long enough, it sinks down and completely permeates your subconscious. And then Step 3, once it's locked into the subconscious, it acts as a direct command sent out to millions of cellular workers. Your thoughts are essentially the blueprints being handed down to the construction crew building your new cells.
The source actually claims that permeating your subconscious with a strong, unwavering desire to become healthy literally sends physical commands throughout your body. It describes this mechanism as being so powerful that it's capable of creating what we would perceive as physical miracles, literally directing the factory workers to construct a perfectly healthy body, entirely replacing the sick one.
But, as you might guess, this factory metaphor goes both ways. The text highlights a really stark duality. If you're broadcasting negative thought waves, fear, doubt, anger, those act as destructive commands. The factory workers follow those negative blueprints, which ultimately destroys the body from the inside out. Conversely, a strong will and deep faith act as positive commands that dramatically boost the body's defenses. It's a heavy responsibility. Your mind is literally the architect of your own physical state.
Section 4. Faith and the immune system, the ultimate defense.
The author holds a very dynamic, almost militant view of the immune system. The text describes immune cells as internal police and soldiers. Their entire job is to actively fight off external enemies like invading viruses or diseases. But here's where the philosophy ties directly back into the spiritual.
The author claims that strong faith is the absolute ultimate fuel for this internal military. Your belief provides the energy and the reinforcements these cellular soldiers need to actually win the battle.
And the factory metaphor warns of a pretty serious consequence here. A lack of faith or chronic negative thinking results in the factory actually producing defective cells. If your internal soldiers are weak or defective just because the master of the factory sent down bad blueprints, well, the external enemies are going to win. In this framework, spiritual doubt is the literal root cause of physical illness.
This leads us right to the absolute core thesis of the chapter, summarized perfectly in this quote. Having a strong faith increases the human body's immune power. The source material fundamentally argues that the power of belief is inextricably physically linked to long-term cellular health. It's not just about, feeling positive. It is about providing the literal biological armor your body needs to survive.
Finally, Section 5, Master of Your Life, the Power of Belief.
We've finally arrived at the title of the book itself, The Absolute Health Method. Based on everything we've just unpacked, this is defined not as a diet, not as some intense physical regimen or a set of exercises. It is entirely the empowering practice of using the power of belief to overcome illness. By actively controlling the subconscious factory, the text argues, you completely take back control and live truly as the master of your own life. You are no longer just a victim to random biological chance.
Ultimately, the source material defines this absolute health method as requiring one very specific element: unyielding faith. It's this deep-seated, unshakable spiritual belief that allows a person to consciously rewrite their physical reality, direct their cellular river, and literally cure disease.
So the ultimate takeaway from this fascinating philosophy is empowerment through supreme responsibility. The power of your thoughts can both create and cure illnesses. Under this framework, you are absolutely not a passive passenger in a failing machine. You are the factory owner, you're the spiritual architect, and you are the master commander of your physical vessel.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative thought to ponder. If your body truly is a subconscious factory, eagerly waiting for the master's instructions, what kind of commands are you sending to the floor today? Are you building health, or are you printing defective parts? It's a really powerful perspective to reflect on. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the reality around and inside you. See you next time.